A big hello and a warm welcome to all of you amazing and beautiful people out there. Welcome to my channel, The Twin Flame Union. In this channeling session, I would be talking about the Divine Masculine Collective. The Divine Masculine Collective, who is mirroring from Divine Feminine Collective. And this is for those who are in the awakening process. And when I say awakening, this does not mean the masculines were not awakened once before. Because awakening is a process, it does not happen in one day. There are certain elements of awakening that are right now working for them. And one of those elements is to understand the impact of subliminal messages and supraliminal messages. So as a collective, the masculines are understanding that they have been separated or they've been away from the concept of unconditional love because of how the world or how everything around them had programmed them to believe in the otherwise, like in believing the love that is not real, which is why they could not understand or they could not read the feelings or emotions of the feminine, or they could not simply take her as genuine person. So this is how also dark energies work, because see, what dark energies do on this planet is they just want to do mind control, and they simply want to make people be trapped in the maya of planet Earth, which is, as I said yesterday also, that there is no good and bad on planet Earth. There is no such thing as heaven and hell on planet Earth either. Heaven is also an illusion and hell is also an illusion. Those who are stuck in the realms of hell, and I'm talking about planet Earth. On planet Earth, hell is considered to be poverty, despair, not having a good life, not being able to afford certain things. People think that that is hell, having a very bad lifestyle, poor lifestyle. And of course, many things which are even basic things in a lifestyle consumption, from a consumption perspective, they cannot even get those because they are living in a realm or they are living in a dimension which tells them that they can't do it, they can't get it, they don't deserve it. And in heaven also, those who are living in the apparent heaven on earth, thinking that wow, we have this, we have that, we can do this, we can do that. Or if say a certain section, a certain percentage of people who are living below poverty line or in poverty or slightly okay, they feel that if I become very wealthy, very rich, or I become very famous, or I become this, or I become that, then all of the pain that I'm going through, that pain and suffering will go away. So they work very hard, or if not very hard, like most of the people who are successful in the fame business, they have been practicing since childhood. Fame or money, they have been working on it since childhood because their parents tried it out. They could not do it, so they thought, let me try it with my child. And they put the child into it since a very young age. So if you mold any child in a very young age to be certain way or do certain things, they would be able to do it. But that still does not guarantee happiness, and that does not guarantee success, true success or true happiness. That's because Earth, the real Earth, as I had said in another channeling, real Earth exists in a place where there is no heaven, no hell, where there is no polarity, where there is no duality. That is where real Earth exists. One of the biggest enemies of twin flamers are these people who have created an atmosphere where you don't know the difference between true love and fake love. And this is taught via fairy tales, this is taught via many such storybooks, especially when you're really young. You know, you're so young at that time, you don't understand. And one of the biggest reasons why feminine is separated from masculine is because feminine is not close to God. Okay? This is the dynamic of the twin flame journey. The feminine integrates with the source and masculine integrates with her. Why? Because when she integrates with the source, she starts getting Shakti from source, which is energy, which is power. And from that power, he gets happiness and peace. So the word Shiva means goodwill, prosperity, peace, all of these things. And Shakti means energy. If the feminine is not integrated with source, if she does not think about God for everything, then she cannot give Shakti to her masculine. And then the divine masculine will look for other women or other people from whom he can get the same Shakti. And even he cannot get the Shakti from anyone else. But for some time he might assume or he might think that it is possible. So the masculines, it is actually masculine's work here to connect with the source. As soon as she can, this is the only work she should do. Because all those people who get married to the twin flame, they also report the same problem, that after marriage also he ran away. What do I do now? Or someone says that I waited for so long, I did all the inner work. I came in a very amazing zone. I thought now it will finally be normal, everything will be okay. Again he ran away. So what is this happening? That's because there is lack of source integration, or the source integration even in harmonization stage. So harmonization state comes after illumination, right? So in harmonization also many of the twin flamers say this. It's very difficult to harmonize. How do I let go of this, let go of that? Or, one day I feel very nice, the other day I don't. That's because they are not integrating properly with the source, the feminine especially. The feminine, this is the job of the feminine in this dynamic. So, and when she is integrated with source, even masculine will do her inner work very seriously. Otherwise, he will also get lazy or he might not feel like doing it. I recently met with few kids who also come to feed dogs, and I was very surprised because they know about subliminals and supraliminals. And I was like, how do these kids know? So two of them actually told me the story of Aladdin and the genie, the magic lamp. And they told me how, the genie is basically simply there to take away the soul of Aladdin. So this is an interesting conversation, and I would now take you to that conversation. Just enjoy this conversation by these little cute boys, and then they are also masculine energy. One day they will be with their divine feminine, and if at this age they are so wise, I don't know what all they're going to do when they grow up, or what is in store for them, like what contribution are they making. They're already making a contribution. At such a young age, they wake up at 5 every morning. I was really surprised to see their routine. They wake up at 5. Many adults don't do that. And they come to the park. They spend a lot of time in the garden. And that's the morning time. It's very healthy time. And they feed the dogs, or they help adults like us to feed them. So over to them. What's up, people? So today I am out to feed the dogs, and there are these lovely children who they are here to feed the dogs. So these kids are really wise, and they, being so small, so young, not small, young, they know, yeah, but they're small in size. They know about subliminals, and I was very surprised to hear when they spoke to me about how subliminals are inserted in the children's stories. So this is Sam, and his actual name is Samarth, and he is the one who spoke to me about how subliminals are inserted in Aladdin's story. So let me just put on my mask, just give me a second, and he's gonna speak. Okay, so over to Samarth. Tell me about the thing come this side, yeah.
So hello guys, welcome to the channel Twin Flame Union.
Yeah.
So guys, we will talk about Aladdin and Genie. You will know his name is Genie, but his real name is Jinath.
Very good.
And you think about that Aladdin and the Genie were living like Aladdin was telling him wishes and Genie was accepting all of them. But no, at the end, Genie taked out Aladdin's soul. 3 types of people in there. Humans, genies, and gods.
So genies fall under asuras, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Very
and
good.
And the genies has two forms. There are good genies and bad genies. But both of those two genies are taking all of soul.
Why did genie give desires to Aladdin? So many desires, so many wishes.
The genie accepted Aladdin's all wishes because of that. Aladdin don't need help of God. All the people in the world, because the Aladdin families pray every day.
Who prays to devil?
Nahi, he thinks that genie and the evil souls want that humans pray for them,
So why did
except of God.
why did they pick Aladdin only? Why not someone else?
The Aladdin has very pure soul. That why genie took him, and he is so innocent person.
Okay, and his family?
His family always prays to God. Every time they praise to God because of they were bhakt of God.
Devotee.
Yeah.
They are saying that Aladdin was a pure soul and he was a very innocent man, and the evil genie.
And one more thing.
Yeah,
If
okay.
you have encounter any genie, don't have talk with any wishes and run away. Fast as fast. The simple way is don't a lamp.
Don't rub the magic lamp.
Yes.
Okay, but do you think a magic lamp exists?
No.
No. So basically all this is false, but main thing is that they want people to ask for wishes from evil people.
I mean
Actually, it's not even about evil people. They want humans to always be trapped in asking for wishes and be trapped in desires.
They will be taking out human soul and they will get it. Mission completed. Respect, respect, respect.
Respect from who? The devil community,
Yep.
the Asur community. So this is amazing. Samarth and Gaurav know so much about these things, and they were telling me that there are other children's stories also. There are other children's stories where these type of subliminals are inserted. These type of stories are given to kids so that kids get trapped in desires and they never pray to God. They are so young and still they are so wise, right?
And one more thing.
Okay,
Meet
one
him.
Meet him?
Snow.
Oh, Snow.
His name is Snow.
Okay, that's actually Snow is their friend and they hang out with Snow most of the times. And Snow also loves them. So on this note, I will close this session and continue with whatever I
So
was
guys,
talking
meet
about.
you in the next video. Bye bye.
Bye, Snow. Mohit bhi bye bol rahe. Bye. Mohit was standing right here all this while.
So basically, planet Earth is now, or it has always been, a consumeristic society. And all humans are distracted. They are distracted from God, and the tools of devil or dark energies are normally materialistic things and pleasures. So it's not like all humans are like that. Let me tell you, as I have said before also, that there are three types of humans. There are three types of humans. They look like humans from the appearance, but within them the soul is of Dev, Asur and Manav. So Dev are mostly the light workers, the pure souls, the souls that are not connected so much with materialistic world. These people cannot actually perform very well in third dimensional world, three-dimensional world, which is the dualistic earth, or whether they are in hell or they are in heaven. Some of them are born in very rich families also, or some of them are born to very popular parents, narcissistic parents, enabler types, but they always have a very deep pit in their heart and they never feel one with them. So, it could be a very rich kid, but he or she would never be happy in the parties the parents are throwing or what the other rich kids are doing. They would rather want to go and play in the street with the street kids, or they would rather go and do those type of activities which come from pure souls. Like they would be more happy with their servants, hanging out with, old ladies, and they would like to, talk about different things that usually their parents or their family members would not encourage also and not talk also. So the parents will not like these type of children because they would be scared, like what if tomorrow they grow up and they become like paupers, or they just refuse all the money and the empire we have built, all the industries we have created. So the parents also try very hard to allure them back into their world. The same thing happened with Gautam Buddha. Buddha was a crown prince. He was a king's son. And his father, because at the time of his birth, there were some very learned astrologers who saw his chart, Vedic chart. And they said that either this boy is going to be very famous, that is one thing we are sure about. His name would be spread everywhere. But according to his chart, we feel that he could turn into a monk also. So when the father heard this, that his son would become a monk or could become a monk, so he said either he would be a great warrior, one of the biggest kings that this planet would ever see, who would fight many battles, he would win many battles, or else I am also very, inclined towards thinking that he would renounce the world, but he would do something that will uplift the society and his name would be, sung for many years. Now, I want to tell you this, you must all know that there are many Buddhas. Buddha is not the monopoly of only Siddhartha Gautam. There are many Buddhas. There are many Rams in this earth. As I said, the higher you go in your ascension work, the more and more people you will meet. And you will be amazed to see so many dimensions overlap on planet Earth and so many different types of people live on planet Earth. But we only see what we are programmed to see, and we can only see with our limited perception whatever is meant to be seen. And once we awaken, the world is just a playground. I keep saying this, the world is just a playground after that. You can literally manifest anything. You can go anywhere. You can do anything. But then by the time you become so awakened and so, so natural that you don't even need to do anything. You don't get fascinated by anything only. For you, it's an experience. It's a human experience on planet Earth. So how do the dark entities manipulate humans or use humans? As I said, if it is a nirvana, a dev, a light worker personality, a star seed, if it is these type of people, then sooner or later they will awaken because that's their predestined path. They are also supposed to suffer a lot more than other people, and they are supposed to suffer in different departments. The awakening process always starts after the age of 26 and 27. Before that, they are very much in the worldly world. During their childhood also, they feel very spiritual and they are connected to natural side of the world. And that's why I gave the example of Gautam Buddha. He is an inspiration for many people who are on the ascension journey. The only thing is that he did not follow the path of devotion. So there are many devotees, and also he became a monk. He left his wife, and though a lot of people who have studied about Buddha would differ in this because they might not have read it so deeply, but I must tell you that Buddha also went back to his wife. After many years of work, after many years of inner work, he felt that maybe he did work a lot on himself, but he still has a duty because he did give birth to a biological child. He did become a monk, but as a father of that child, he had some responsibility, which he still has. He felt at that point in time, so he went back to his wife. And that was the time when his wife did not accept him back. She told him that it was your wish and will to leave and become a monk, renounce the world and do your meditation and do all the other practices that you did because you were not happy. But I have raised my boy and I am happy to do what I am doing. So it doesn't matter to me anymore. And then later on to his son also, he gave him the same technique that he had learned, which is Vipassana. There are many texts that say that his son also became a monk later on. So, because this is what love makes you feel. Unconditional love makes you very responsible. Even though he had renounced the world, but he felt that, I must go back at least once and I must fulfill my duties as a father towards my son, and I'm also going to talk to my wife. Some people could also see this as a twin flame union, Buddha going back to his wife, but the wife did not accept him. Because she was like, now you're a monk, now you're a sannyasi, I'm not going to bring you back from your path. So she was also a very good woman. She did not demand anything. Buddha's mother was little upset. She did question him. And there is a deep, beautiful, deep conversation about that also, which I think I have already shared in another channeling in somewhere in the past. So now what the dark energies do is, because human beings, if you understand human mind works on the principle of duality on planet Earth. So there are good human beings and there are bad human beings. Actually, good and bad human beings are almost the same. They are pretty much the same people. Those who do too much good are actually bad, and those who too much bad are also good in some way or the other. So there is no such greatness in becoming good and bad on planet Earth. The greatness is in becoming authentic, genuine. Because genuine and authentic people are the pure souls who are above the concept of good and bad. You really cannot predict their behavior. You can never predict the behavior of a genuine person. Let me tell you that. Because a lot of people in the healers community also, light workers community also, they assume and imagine that all healers have to be a certain way, especially in the twin flame journey, because most of them don't understand this twin flame concept, but I think in future many will. Many people think that healers have to be very soft spoken all the time. They never get angry. They don't have warrior like energies. They have no logic. They are not like this. They are not like that. They think all of that, all of those things about them. But in the twin flame journey, we learn to awaken both our sides, the good and bad sides. But the good and bad side is no longer for our personal behavior or personal consumption. It is to treat other people in the way they should be treated. So if you are a genuine person, you are not a fake person, obviously you will not be image conscious and you will not be inhuman also. Because you are in the middle, right? You are in the middle. You are neither in heaven, you are neither in hell. You don't care about hell, you don't care about heaven. You don't care about a good image, you don't care about a bad image. There are many people in current day and situation who do bad things because that also makes them popular. They say that if you do a lot of controversies, then you will be a popular figure in the media also, they say these things, right? So a lot of these celebrities, they do a lot of controversies, they keep doing strange things, weird things to get the attention of many people, and then people write about them, people talk about them, and they're very happy with it. And when later on, after 10 years, 15 years, you interview them again and they say, oh, I should not have done that. I was really innocent at that time. I did not know anything. I just wanted to be famous. I just wanted to be loved. I just wanted to be popular. So I was doing those things, right? So the dark energies actually use these type of people only who are either extra good, goody miss, goody two shoes, or who are very bad. They manipulate them. They give them wishes, like how Lucifer, in that show, if you've seen that show Lucifer, he always asks this question, so what is your desire? He always says that, what is your desire? And people are like, yeah, this is my desire. So desire is basically a trap. It is the best trap. If somebody has too many desires, they are bound to be away from God. They'll never be close to God. They'll always suffer because of that. And I mean, on planet Earth, there will always be something or the other keeps going on. That will become joyful for you later on. You have to become a person from whom even dark energies get scared. The dark energies also say, no. If there is a tension, specific person, okay? And if you go and tell tension, this person called tension, that, hey, why don't you go and trouble that person? Even tension would say, I'm not going to that person, that person is too bad, such a badass. That person, no. Even tension should be scared of such people. And this is how it happens also. Even tension gets scared of them because they're going to eat up all the energy of the tension also, and they will just, chew it like a chewing gum and then spit it out. This is what a badass warrior does. But a badass warrior is a badass warrior only for places and people and things where it needs to be. where they know that there is nothing has to be done. One has to just ignore them, just be quiet. There's no point arguing. You know how they say that pigs love to play in the mud. Fighting with some people is like playing with pigs in the mud. The pigs are enjoying it, but you'll get all dirty. So they know where to argue, where not to argue, where to strike, where not to strike, where to be quiet, where not to be quiet. So they are extremely unpredictable people. There is a story of a master, Kabir. Kabir was a master teacher, ascended master on planet Earth, and he is a wonderful person. He had no religion as such. He and his parents just found him at a river bank, and the story says, this is a real story because if you research about Kabir, you will find it out. At the time of his death also, people were fighting over his body. The Muslims, because he had both type of followers. He had Muslim followers, Hindu followers, he had Sikh followers, he had followers from all religions. Because he never talked about any religion. He never said that I belong to this religion or that religion. So the Muslims and the Hindus, especially I'm talking about religion-oriented people, you know. Although he used to chant the name of Ram, and he would say Ram, 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 Ram all the time. But he did not believe in any religion as such. So people started fighting over his body. The Muslims said that we must give him a burial. The Hindus said that no, we must give him a cremation. This is what religions do, right? Religious people keep fighting for no reason. Every religion wants to say that I am the best religion and I am the best religion. So Hindus and Muslims were both fighting. And the body was right there and it was kept under a white bed sheet. So when they were fighting, some of them said, okay, whosoever takes the body away, that person, that party will win. Okay, so when they put the hand on the bed sheet, the body was gone. It had vanished. There was no body. They could not find the body of Kabir. Just the way he was born, like born from nowhere, no parents were there. It was just a cute little baby on the river banks, and a family found them. In Urdu, in India, the term is called Julaha. Julaha means a weaver. So professionally, he was not like a rich, fancy man or anything. But interestingly, just the way his body got vanished, he was also a master of masters, great master. So there was this king called Ibrahim, very powerful king called Ibrahim, who was his student. And for many years, it is said, King Ibrahim worked under him as his apprentice, as an intern, because he wanted to learn from him. And he went to Kabir's doorstep and Kabir refused him. Kabir said, no, I don't have time for all this, and I don't want to teach anyone. I'm not your teacher. And who wants to? You are a king, such a big king. What do you want from me, a poor man like me? I don't have all this. I don't have anything for you. Go away. And he just kept persisting. He was like, no, I'm going to stay here. Please let me do it. Please let me work under you. I'll do whatever you say. I'll be your servant. I'll be whatever you say. So his wife, Luni, says that, you have so much work. You're always overburdened with work. He is a king any which way. How many days can he work for you? He will get tired one day and then he will go. So as long as he wants to work, his wife was very smart and funny, I think. As long as he wants to work, he wants to be your student or whatever, just accept him and make him do all the chores wherever you are finding difficulty. He can do it for you. So finally Kabir agreed and King Ibrahim started working for him as his assistant. His full name was Sultan Ibrahim ibn Adham. He was the king of Balkh, Balkh. So he had, he got salvation because of, or you would say that Sant Kabir, Master Kabir was his teacher. So one fine day, he was happy with him. He felt that he's finally ready. And that's when he told him that, now you can go back to your kingdom wherever you came from. At first, Ibrahim was very sad. He cried a lot. He was like, no, I cannot go anywhere. I cannot live anywhere, without you. I could have been a sultan, or I could have been whatever, but now I've been working with you, I've been living with you. I cannot imagine my life without you now. So, but Kabir said, you have worked a lot here. You have learned whatever I wanted to teach you. I have taken all your tests and you have passed, my dear boy. Almost for over a decade he was with him. So that was the greatness of people, some of the people who spent so many years in ascension work. Like I know some of the people in the twin flame journey, they get very impatient and they are like, I'm not going to do it anymore. It is so difficult. I cannot take it anymore. I'm going to quit this journey, blah, blah, blah. I tell them, please do it. Please quit. Please go back and live in the old lifestyle or in the old patterns that you were living in. If that makes you happy, if that suits you, please go ahead and do it. Nobody asked you to be in the twin flame journey any which way. If just 2 or 3 years of separation, or if this little bit of time is making you so impatient, how do you expect to, even become a happy person later on? So any which way, what happens in this journey is, one of the key lessons is that there are certain factors that change our course. As I said that before the age of 26, 27, most of the twin flamers and star seeds are very busy doing all the worldly things. Suddenly something happens, a big shift happens, a change happens. If they are genuine twin flamers, if they are genuine twin flamers, then this process will always happen after 25 years of age. After that it will happen. Before that they will have inclination. They would love to watch conspiracy theories, documentaries. Half of the time will go in parties, getting drunk, doing all the worldly things, being with boyfriend, girlfriends, being there. And then later on they will start realizing that I'm getting very bored over here, very suffocated over here. Even when the feminine is testing, because this testing and crisis phase is a very important phase for feminines, for the divine feminines, because they're testing the masculine. The masculine, being a very egotistical person, does not enjoy this testing phase. He starts getting very irritated with all her questions and all her, because she doesn't confess love or she doesn't show love immediately. She takes time because she has been heartbroken so many times before, and in the past also, every time she fell in love with someone, it was the wrong man. Sometimes she felt that she made the wrong choice because the choice was based on her mother's approval or father's approval or societal approval, or just her friends would say that, oh, look at him, he's such a hot guy, you must go for him, he's hitting on you or he likes you, blah, blah, blah. And she goes like, yeah, all right. And then after 2 years, 3 years, she realizes that, it's just not for her. Then there is a phase where she goes into abusive relationships. And when I say she, please understand, it is divine feminine energy. Men are extremely capable, because this mother energy, once the mother energy awakens, whether it's a man or a woman, that is the only time when they begin to ascend. And this is the reason why a lot of men who were earlier very violent and very, always fighting with people, always going for crazy things, always doing crazy things, in the ascension process, they change so much. Women are supposed to become slightly badasses, especially with feminine energy, because, she's a woman after all. She's a goddess. She's a goddess, she's a mother, she's a sister. She has to play many roles. So she cannot be a person who's always stupid or always scared or always docile. Look at Mother Kundalini, Kali. Yesterday I had shared a post on Kali, Bhadrakali and Narad Muni. So Kali and Bhadrakali are the two goddesses who give energy to divine feminines. Bhadrakali is the goddess that gives you all the feminine powers, beauty, worldly comforts, luxuries. Like, she makes you independent. That's what I want to say. The root chakra independence comes from there. Okay, you want to buy something, you can buy it. You don't have to be dependent on other people. And Kali is the one who starts this process of ascension. So your chakras, the awakening process of your chakra is called Kundalini rising. Another name for Kali is Kundalini. So you should study about these concepts, because these are the concepts that you're into right now. And then some of them get married and they come into therapy again. What happened? You were so happy you got married to your divine masculine. Oh yeah, but he ran away again. So I say, you did not see that coming, right? So they say, no, I did not see that coming, and I thought I've done my ascension work. I thought I've done everything. Didn't see this coming at all. Didn't know that this day could come as well. So this is it, because Kundalini, the dark mother, she's a very disciplinarian mother. She's a very strict mother. So she is also very badass. She is not going to accept you with impurities. That's the reason why she puts you in all these paths and all these trials and tribulations, to make sure that you are completely purified. You know, she will whoop your ass if it's needed. You know, and I know it's needed. We all know it's needed, very much needed, because we are also stubborn people. Sometimes we are stubborn because we just don't want to get up and do inner work. Some of the feminines and masculines, they don't want to do inner work. Masculines especially. Masculines are like, I will not do any inner work. They will talk a lot about many things, because they are logically and analytically, they are better, you know, they know a lot of things. So they must have read a lot of books. They would have done a lot of poetry. You sit with them and they would act like they are already ascended masters. But then they get into the matrix reality, and then their ass gets warped too. So it's Mother Kundalini. She's a dark mother. She's a strict mother. And she also knows what is the level of, coaching the kids need. It's not like she will put you in water and you'll drown. She knows for how many seconds you should be in water. She knows that, and then she'll pick you up. Perfect mother. There can be no other perfect mother than Mother Kundalini, you know. So the subliminals now, the masculines and feminines are realizing, they're going through this realization that they want to contribute to planet Earth, because they have realized that this planet Earth is being run by a lot of people who use supraliminals and subliminals. Please Google both these terminologies and you'll find out there's a lot of information on it. Lot of things we see in advertisements, lot of things we see in hoardings, lot of things are superimposed or mixed up with audios. Lot of things are mixed up with popular music videos. Very popular music videos would have certain types of graphics or certain type of symbolism, certain type of sign languages. In fact, a lot of celebrities are basically created. They are made celebrities. There is literally a board of people on top who decide what type of celebrities should come in, for how long, what exactly should they do, who should they marry, where should they be, and till the time they feel that they can be kind of used for this work. And what exactly is the work? Let people worship them as gods, especially the youth, especially the teenagers, the children, because children are very innocent, they are very pure, and this is the reason why they also have celebrities who are very young. Celebrities like, look at Justin Bieber. He was so young. He was just a little boy when they picked him up and made him a celebrity. And he had so many young boys and girls who followed him, were crazy for him. Like, obviously times have changed now. He has also grown up, and I am planning to do a vlog on Selena Gomez and Justin Bieber. Both were little kids. Most of the celebrities are either very young or they are very innocent and pure, you know. But people worship them. Like, if you go to a rock concert, do you see how the crowd is going for them on the stage? Like there are people who are screaming and shouting, looking at them. There are people who faint. They faint in front of them. They feel that God has arrived. God has got reincarnated on planet Earth and He's performing live in front of me on the stage. You know, with all the piercings and with all the tattoos, God is right there in front of me. This is how they feel. They put the posters of their gods, all the celebrities. What really goes wrong? What goes wrong? You know, like the statement, what went wrong? Many a times these pure innocent souls, and this is why there is a club. There is a club called Club 28, I think. Yes. And you see, this is the age, as I said, 27, 28. This is the age when people start getting awakened, especially pure souls who were born pure souls. But many of these people in Club 28 died exactly at that age because they were actually awakening. They realized that whatever they are doing, whatever they have done in the past, they were under mind control, or they were given desires by Lucifer or by some satanic forces. And because of those desires, they got separated from their true love. They would never find true love. All of them looked for true love. Look at this guy Kurt Cobain. He shot himself, and he had a band named Nirvana. They knew these, all of them know certain concepts. Look at this song Hotel California. Look at this song Another Brick in the Wall. These are such apt songs, and they made these songs. And many of them feel, like they did some good work, but some of them could not survive the harsh realities, because a lot of the people in the ascension journey, the star seeds, the twin flamers, the light workers, they are not supposed to exist, or they are not supposed to work in such harsh environments. Even when a star seed has to go to office every day and work in a strange environment, according to them it is a strange environment, or how to process school, how to process college, how to process office life, they can't do it. Maybe one of them tells their mother that, mother, I want to be a historian, or mother, I just want to be maybe a painter or a singer or a dancer, or some environmentalist, maybe something which other kids are not going to be talking about, or other kids may not be so interested in. The family goes like, no, you can't do this. You have to get a job in future. For 12 years, you will be going to school. You understand? Because you want to get a job after 14 years, 15 years, 16 years, you will start practicing right away. And you are going to study the subjects which you don't have any knowledge about. And if we also don't know anything about those subjects, whatever we were taught in school, we have already forgotten about it. But still, we will send you to the same institutional places, all the educational places, so that for next 12-14 years, you sit on a desk, you carry a backpack every day, you walk from here, or we'll drop you, whatever. Transportation, we'll figure it out. And you just sit in one classroom. If you look outside the window also at some bird or at some tree or some cloud, you will get punished. So you better don't do that. Just keep looking at the teacher, keep trying to focus, keep listening and focus, and while you're doing all this, please also get good ranks and good marks. And the children have to comply, they comply. So eventually these star seeds, they are put into harsh environments. Maybe somebody is a very intelligent person, wants to be a writer, wants to be a poet, and the parents put that kid into engineering. You must become an engineer because that will give you a good job. At least you will have a stable job. Or maybe he wants to be, or she wants to be a musician, maybe wants to make music, or wants to do something fun, something that suits their personality or their mind more. Now these type of conditioning also creates a division between masculine and feminine right from the childhood, because in the childhood something they love unconditionally is taken away from them. They have no right over it. The masculines have to maybe listen to other people who make decisions for them, career decisions or education decisions or basic decisions like you can't just do these things or you can't do those things. Like, as I said, they may not be so materialistic. They could be more spiritual, but the families or some other adults would be like, no, you can't do this because you have to make money or you have to maintain our status. With the feminine, obviously neglect, even if they were brilliantly talented or very gifted or amazingly very loving and adorable, very kind, or even if they were doing the right things, they were punished, they were abused or assaulted or ignored. So it was control once again. So these type of decision making also, or these type of problems they faced also took them away from love, because unconditional love also comes from their soul. Just like how, as children, they wanted to do some unconditional things purely out of love, true love. So they were taken away from it. They were not allowed to do it, or they were told this is wrong or this is bad, or they were punished for it. So they formed really strong beliefs about love, about unconditional love, about true love. And when they found each other and they wanted so badly to be with each other, they could not do it. So on that note, I would close this channeling session, because I hope you have got the message. The message is unconditional love is real, and have faith in it. And sooner or later, truth always comes out, and truth always sets you free. One love and peace out.